Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 520 of Geeks in Space. I am Rob, Commander Taco Malda, and I am joined today 30 minutes early by two of the greatest geeks who are ever going to really deviate from their normal schedules to adjust their orbital paths and talk about important issues like Chris DeBona.
Hello.
And Rob Roseboom.
Earthbound people.
Yeah, that's me.
Earthbound people.
Earthbound.
No, I was laughing at Zen's. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
People.
What the hell?
I'm old. Life sucks.
It's early.
So I didn't, Chris, you had just asked this, and I don't think that I put this on the Taco Zone, but I had meant to. Studio Ghibli released 400 background images from their
that's
their
great.
films. I wish that they had done just more. So the one that I'm in front of from Spirited Away is like one of the ones that you could theoretically press in the button. One that you could theoretically use as a background image behind a Zoom call. A lot of them are like character shots and stuff, so they wouldn't really work as an interesting background. But
that's really neat.
There's a lot of really nice ones, but they didn't like do all of the movies. It's just like half of their movies. I hope I hope that somebody goes through and pulls out a batch of like nice background art without the characters and stuff, because I think that would make for really nice background images. But
well, you know, the BBC did this too with iconic sets.
Yeah.
Here you go. Zoom backgrounds. Zoom. You can use them anywhere, you know.
It's not proprietary. The zoomings.
There you go. Yeah, so they have sitcom sets, entertainment sets, children's television. So if you're a British person, of course, they have the TARDIS.
I would like to be on the set of The Young Ones. Is that something that we can arrange?
That is completely able to do that.
Is The Young Ones in there? That's awesome.
Yeah, here we go.
What about Black Adder?
Ooh.
Can that be in one of their
I would
sets?
think so. Let's see. Black. No, I'm sorry.
I would like to be able to choose which TARDIS I appear inside of depending on my mood. I need a mood TARDIS.
That's completely doable. They also have the Blake 7, the Liberator. They have all kinds of stuff. Here, let's walk around the TARDIS, shall we?
Oh yeah.
Maybe you're more modern and you want the second shot of the TARDIS, or the 1990s, Fourth Doctor's.
I actually
TARDIS.
like that TARDIS.
90s? Is that 90s? No,
that's 80s.
Yeah, this looks 80s to me.
Or the movie.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the glory that is the Blake 7 lounge bridge set,
Oof. I mean, I'm all in. That seems comfortable. But it seems like somebody got a little bit jelly of Picard.
Well, it's like they went to Studio 54 and they're like, wow, these chairs can be used in a science fiction film.
Sure.
Let's do it.
Sure. All right. Let's see. We don't got that much good stuff to talk about, although we could continue with the Star Trek and Star Wars thing. You should, if you haven't read the story that I shared on the typography of Star Trek.
That's down here.
Yeah, it's the last one
on the site.
What's that?
That's on the site.
Yeah, it's on the Zone, man. I zoned it.
The Zone.
I zoned it.
It's almost like we're talking about what shows up on some random website somewhere.
I know, it's weird. Who would do such a thing? Who started doing such a thing in like 1999? So anyway, this article
is 98.
98, even better, even cooler. The first part of this article is actually largely about fonts, and they detail the original Star Trek fonts. But the page itself is just a whole bunch of really weird Star Trek lore wrapped together, and fonts are a big part of it. But they talk about like where you could get your hands on fonts back in the day, like the Bitstream fonts and but like there's a lot of stuff in there that's not just typography and stuff. And the article is really charmingly, humorously written, and it's very much worth your time. And I legit mean that. This is
wonderful.
This is a fun article to read.
I'm going to read this in toto later.
You should.
This is remarkable. Can I just tell you my favorite part from the new Star Treks, where you have Bruce Greenwood talking to Chris Pine in the bar, and he says, Starfleet is a peacekeeping armada. And I'm like, hold on.
You've chosen those words very carefully, Mr. Writer Man.
Yeah, and I was like, a peacekeeping armada.
Yep.
Those are armada.
And then after that they murder hugged.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, this warship's not going to be involved in any sort of shenanigans. There's no fighting here. I mean, it was a very weird moment.
If
I
we
sort of
learned
knew that
if we learned anything from Picard, it's that Starfleet is not really capable of evacuating people, for like peacekeeping type work. And maybe if they would have focused a little less on the Armada in the Kelvin timeline, everything would have been okay.
Is that what we learned from Picard?
Also,
Yes, that's what
space orchids.
Ugh.
Space
I
orchids.
thought we learned a lot of things from Picard, but not necessarily that.
Like, for example, we learned, don't go back to your childhood. It ain't going to work out.
Yeah. Well, in retrospect, the space orchids were clearly a call out to the paintings of. Okay, I'm going to stop. What else we got here, y'all?
Well, there's one about using chitin to build habitats on Mars, which I thought was a bit in the Rob vein.
Yeah, I didn't read that story, but it definitely piqued my interest when I saw it. Because I got to be honest, one of my favorite bits of the G.I. Joe cartoon when I was a kid was when they ended up finding that race that had all biological-based technology.
Sure.
And I've always dug that sort of stuff in sci-fi, where they find the spaceship that's grown or the building that's grown,
For sure.
Biology-based technology has always kind of held a fascinating spot in my heart.
My favorite part of G.I. Joe is the fact that there are a couple of things, but one is the fact that they wanted to construct a weather dominator. And I always love the idea that your evil organization would construct a weather dominator. And that we're going to put satellites in space to control the weather. And that's our idea. And then I look at Elon Musk and I'm like, oh, crap. That seems like probably like phase 3. But my favorite part of that plot line is that they had to get heavy water from the bottom of the ocean. Which I guess is kind of a real thing. But the way it's portrayed in the show was just always really funny to me. It's like, we go to the bottom of the ocean. Nice robot. We go to the bottom of the ocean, and then underneath the bottom of the ocean, there's another ocean that we have to get the heavy water from because it has.
Well, it's the thermocline, Rob Malda. A thermocline. Yeah.
That's basically the plot to Meg, right?
It's true. The Meg. Yeah. Which is like 300, very historically accurate, very scientifically
and biologically accurate. Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. Usually the movies of Jason Statham are known for being fact-based.
Oh yeah, they spend years researching before they even get to the scripting phase. How sharp can he turn that corner in the parking garage while driving his Audi at 98 miles an hour?
What was the movie where he had to keep injecting himself with
Crank?
Adrenaline?
Oh, Crank.
Oh yeah, that's it. Perfect.
I rewatched both Crank movies in the last 6 months, and they are fun. They are straight up fun.
Seen the second.
The second one is actually, I think you can make the case the second one is better because they have a little more money and they fully embrace the insane. The first one is nuts. The second one is like, oh, you thought that was nuts? Hold my beer.
If you're gonna make that kind of movie, I think it behooves you to sort of embrace what it is, right?
Right.
To not try to make it reasonable, right?
It's kind of like
it's Speed, but with a dude. If he goes under 50 miles an hour, his body explodes. Right. I just realized that. So I'd like to say that I'm late to the party here, but it's kind of brilliant, Yeah. What killed me about Crank was they did those panning pull-up shots and back down shots, and they just kept the Google Earth logo in there.
Yeah,
like,
they didn't even care.
Yeah, we're not gonna edit that out. Screw it.
Whatever. But I liked that. I thought that was that kind of fit with kind of the punk aesthetic of that movie. And punk is the wrong word, but there's like a grungy, cheap, like all the effects are like really shitty digital.
Super. Yeah, they're
Like
yeah. It's
that
like
seemed
some guy
appropriate.
pulled up.
I liked
So
that
the
movie
reason I put up Crichton is because
because it
chitin,
rhymes with chitin,
yes, and Crichton was the robot and Buck Rogers who was very judgmental.
as
So I
opposed
was
to
like,
Michael
yeah,
Crichton in Farscape, or John Crichton, the writer
yeah,
of
John, yeah.
so
Michael
many
Crichton's the
Crichtons.
writer.
Michael Crichton's the
And
writer. John Crichton is the. There's a lot of Crichters in science fiction. That's a common
Crichton's.
name.
Well,
Crichtons.
I think they're all referring to Michael Crichton, right? But he famously hated when people did that. He was kind of known for really, really hating it. So I don't know if he approved the use of the judgmental robot Crichton. And I know he had nothing to do with the John Crichton in Farscape. So, yeah.
Chris, are you running your mic through the RTX thing today?
Oh, you're probably listening to me through the Vive headset.
No,
weird.
I'm getting a crackle off of you.
It's the ice machine.
Is it?
Wait, watch. How's that?
Well, I'm getting two different things. I'm getting a fuzz. I'm getting a fuzz, which is the ice machine that's gone now. But also, I was getting a crackle, like your microphone is popping. But now it does not seem to be happening. So maybe you were just.
Yeah, I think that was all.
Oh no,
that was all ice machine.
Oh well.
But
all right.
thank you for telling me.
Yes, now we can discuss our technical attributes for the rest of our chitin, and our Crichton.
Chitin.
Mike Chitin's doing okay.
Crichton.
Yeah, I saw a doctor about mine.
Crichton.
I would definitely like my shell to be a little bit bigger, but what dude wouldn't?
That's
Yeah,
true.
exactly.
The ladies, they like a hard shell on their chitin. I just listened to a podcast yesterday where they were discussing snails and slugs, and I knew they were biologically related, but I did not know that slugs actually came after snails, biologically speaking, which seems really weird to me. But hey, cool.
That is interesting because the ability to build up, calcium shells seems more advanced than just leaving slime on the ground.
Yeah, but I mean,
but it's kind of like how trees have more chromosomes than we do because
snakes came after lizards. So there you go.
Science is weird, man.
Whales lost their feet.
Oh,
okay.
Poor
now
whales.
You're freaking me out, man.
Oh, that's just good old fashioned fun.
Wait. There could have been land whales, and they could have eaten.
There are. Have you been to the mall?
I was more thinking like dinosaurs and rim shot.
That's right.
Let's keep going.
All right. So all of the Disney movies have announced their new slid back schedule, their latest slid back schedule, and what's not exactly clear is this like a direct result of Mulan underperforming? Is this a response to Tenet underperforming? I mean, nobody really will obviously know because everybody will put rainbows and sunshine onto this, so you won't ever get a real answer. But the main thing is we're not going to get Black Widow until May.
Wow,
more than a year delayed.
Maybe.
May.
I mean, I think it's a combination of both movies and the landscape right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many theaters are even open now? How many ended up closing? It's a real problem for them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's going to be substantially better in May, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they have all of them. Obviously, like the Eternals has to delay, and it's actually Marvel's actually in an interesting spot with this too because like the TV shows are obviously linked into the movies in some way. Like does this delay WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like all of that stuff, like it all intertwines now, which it's interesting that's just a problem. Like I remember like a couple of years ago, like maybe more when Daredevil came out, although they never really capitalized on Daredevil on Netflix intersecting with the MCU really. But the idea that we could have TV shows, Shield did this a few times, where the events of the movie would then be addressed on the episode that came out like to like that weekend or a weekend later, which I always thought was really cool. I remember they did that like when Thor: Dark World came out, or Civil War. Different events from the movie would then be addressed on the show within a week or two.
Right.
And that's kind of terrifying for them in this universe, where like a delay of a year like could impact multiple TV shows.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Rob.
I'm just not sure that the industry is ever going to be the same again. I mean, maybe they'll bounce back and go back to their old sort of business models, but I mean, I think the idea of having these mega blockbusters that cost hundreds of millions of dollars to produce and then filling in all the slots with much lesser movies, I'm not sure that's viable for them anymore.
Right.
They might have to figure out a way just to make money on streaming and then maybe boost up their profits through more merchandising, sort of the same way a movie theater used to make money.
Yeah.
They don't really make money on ticket sales. They make money on concessions. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the movie industry is going to have to figure out a different way to make money now, because I'm not sure it's going to go back anytime soon to the way it was before.
They have 3 Marvel movies now slated for 2021. We got Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and the Eternals. But I mean, that's I don't know. Like, that's a lot. I know they've done 3 movies in a year before. I don't know. I think the movie industry is kind of hosed. I think that's.
Yeah, I think Zen said it best. It's like they, in some ways, I see this as them saying, you know what? We're going to let these movies handle the reboot of society when they're all going to underperform, right?
Yeah.
And so they're probably not spending as much on these things, and they're probably pulling back a bit. And obviously, the actors are cheaper than Robert Downey Jr. and the rest, right? I mean, so it's like, yeah, I think that this is just one of those things.
The cheaper Marvel movies are still coming in around $200 million for budget, and that's without the RDJ.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I want nothing more than to go to a movie theater. But like I said, if I could pay $30 to watch Tenet at my home right now, I'd do it.
Let's be clear. Bob's Burgers. I want to see that in the theater.
Do you think that's critical?
Yeah.
Actually, I really like Bob's Burgers, but no, it's not critical to see Bob Burgers in the theater.
In
That's
IMAX, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not dying to see Bob and the family, in some big screen adventure. I mean, this is wacky, right? So no wonder they pushed that off until April.
I really wanted to see The King's Man. I think that.
Although, to
be
honest with you, Bob's Burgers seems like the movie that you would release instead of Black Widow or some of these other things, right?
That's true.
No one is expecting. I guarantee no one is expecting Bob's Burgers to make $300 million for the studio.
For sure.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Man, my videos.
Yeah, you keep going to a gray screen, like your OBS virtual cam plugin is barfing.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop and start again.
You do.
And I also noticed that Jungle Cruise is a movie coming out.
Yep.
And thank God, because we need more movies based on rides, right?
Starring The Rock.
The Rock running the Jungle Cruise movie. I am super on board.
Oh, me too.
I'm still kind of upset he didn't run for president, like they were rumbling about, but that would have been worth it.
After watching the first Jumanji reboot, like The Rock is officially on my list. Like he can be great. I like him in some of the Fast and Furious movies, but in Jumanji, he is really entertaining.
Yeah.
But I have a natural bias towards that Jumanji movie because that Jumanji movie is fantastic.
Actually, the second one was good too. I mean, it wasn't as good as the first one, but
I think the first one had the advantage.
Me, it was a really pleasant surprise. I think that Jumanji reboot, I was not expecting anything, and I watched it and I'm like, this might be one of the best video game related movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It is really good, the first one.
it's a solidly good movie. It's super fun. All the actors are, bringing their fun game. It was good.
I mean, and you know me, I hate joy usually.
Yeah, you hate
Like,
happiness.
You're not a happy.
I'm a miserable prick. But that movie I thought was delightful.
It was wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the advantage that the first one had. The first one, you go into, you're just hoping for a 3-star movie, and you get a movie that you can actually flirt with. Maybe this is a 4-star movie. It's like actually good, and one that you could raise your hand and recommend to your friends. But the second one is just more of the same. A little bit too much Danny DeVito for my tastes, but it works.
Yeah, the thing is, and every time he opened his mouth, I expected like an Always Sunny in Philadelphia to happen, like him pulling out a gun or something,
if you come out full Frank in that movie, maybe.
Yeah. I brought my pistol.
and then I blew up the place, started shooting up the place. So the only other one that it looks like I have on the list for today is, and I haven't even read this one yet, but I think Nate put it into the channel, the Ring indoor security drone.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is people who are like, I'm not going to allow some surveillance drone in my home, and I'm like, dude, come on. Look at how cool that thing is.
Right? It goes and recharges itself.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I see no reason why this can't work technically. I just think there's a lot of people who be like, I'm not for this. And it's like, you know what? Maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's for the person who sticks it in the corner and then it looks after their abandoned, house on an island.
I just feel like you'll wake up sometime in the night, hearing a noise, you'll look around and see a little blinking light in the corner of the room. When it sees that you see it, it flies away and goes back to its base.
You see it like comes up from the bottom of like the edge of your bed, and like then a red LED turns on,
starts blinking in Morse code to you. I mean, there's all sorts of.
Love me.
Right?
Love me.
Yep.
Drone wants a pillow too.
Ring camera.
Drone needs a pillow. Oh, battery low.
Ring camera is alive.
Number 5 alive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who owns Ring? Is that Google or Amazon?
That's Amazon. We're Nest, their Ring.
I can never keep track anymore. Nobody brands their crap, like just says, hey, this is the Google thing. It's like, okay, we're going to create new brand names. Amazon's the worst for that because they don't even disclose it half the time.
Yeah, I had stopped the broadcast because that's what was shorting me out. But yeah, Ring, it's so cute. So
yeah, I would actually. I mean, I want to see what the acoustics are of it more than anything, because like I assume that would be just the most annoying noise that you could possibly have, and I say that living in a house with 2 small boys who are already the most annoying thing that you can possibly imagine.
I'm also kind of thinking about pets.
Oh man,
for sure see your cat taking this down or your dog.
Here it comes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need a cat warranty.
Yeah, you are. But the thing is, I do wonder about the programming. It should be really interesting because this thing would a lot of people are going to put it on a shelf, So it's like, is it able to lift up, go out, and then come back in the same configuration? Right. That'll be interesting, Or will it just be like a useless box where it goes up and goes back down because it's like I got no.
And how many of these do you think won't be able to dock properly?
Right.
Like the first run, your freaking thing falling off the shelf all the time.
Every time I've tried docking, it's gone poorly.
Yeah.
Can I just point out, they're probably using the open source libraries. He didn't even pay
attention.
I'm sorry. I was going off at what did you say? I was going off in a different direction. There's the SLAM protocol that we released, but yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I did. I said what I did.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen. Just tell me.
You should become. You should join Jake and Elon watching Geeks in Space. I hear it's awesome.
Hey, I can go live stream. I can scrub back. One second.
Well, it was at like about the 24-minute mark. So
don't say anything else.
Yep.
Honestly, usually I keep captions on because I space out like that sometimes.
Yeah,
and it's
how much
more
Concerta are you on a typical day, Mr. Chris?
0. I'm not on that.
You're
Stuff.
all
I need to be probably.
maybe you should be.
Oh,
All right, let's see. Was there anything else? I didn't have. Oh, there's a couple of things in the channel.
yeah.
Way back, there was the story of the town that kept losing their broadband because
Oh yeah.
some old couple had a
Had a
ancient
crappy
TV
TV. Yeah.
that was breaking it every day. It took them forever to figure out what was going on. I thought that was kind of funny.
Tell me about this more. I'm putting it into the zone right now.
I'm trying to find the article. Yeah, it was basically at 7 a.m. They would wake up, they would turn on their television, and it would blow their whole like local cable network because it was sending a bad signal back over the cable. And you know, like DOCSIS, DOCIS, the protocol they use for cable modems, is super freaky. It's basically it's IP over MPEG-2.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's
so
pretty janky.
It's super jank.
So this went on for 18 months. You know, everyone in town, every day their internet would go out for a year and a half before finally someone from the government started investigation, and it took them a while to figure out what was going on too.
I mean, to the old people's credit, they were mortified. They're like, "We're so sorry.
yeah.
We didn't know."
Well, then,
TV.
how would you know?
You know, how would you know?
We had a bunch of issues with that. At one point, a cable company came through and tried to fix one of our neighbor's house, and then the process broke ours, as the cable was like over the telephone poles between our houses. And then they came back, fixed ours, broke theirs. Came back, fixed theirs, broke ours, and it was back and forth. Like literally, we had a cable company out at one of our houses every day for like a week before they finally got both of them working. And I was basically out there just standing there saying, "When you're leaving, I'm testing this, and I'm having my neighbors test this." And it was not cool.
I just like that the engineers walked around town with a spectrum analyzer, trying to figure out what was going on, and then finally they narrowed in on this house.
It's actually, if you think about it, not that dissimilar from the tales of the old timey thing where like the divining rod guy would walk around looking for where to dig for water, but this guy's just like walking around with his magical device trying to find internet.
Let me tell you that isn't so old timey these days. Even super popular to find wells that way, find petroleum that way yet.
Hey, whatever works, whatever works for you.
Seats.
Let's see. Ooh, we got COVID scams. There was the beer story. The world's ugliest truck.
That
was
thing
stupid.
Is hideous.
Oh, that thing is real?
Or was it an Onion story? Well, now I have to put it up on the
no.
zone.
It's the Denali, right?
It's a real thing.
Yeah, put it up.
They have a truck that looks like that?
It's probably taken from like a low angle anyway. But yeah, a lot of these trucks, they have enormous grills, dude.
But that's not just enormous. That's stupid.
Yeah, that's photoshopped. If you look at, I mean, it still has very little view. Above the hood, but the very top image, it looks like you have about 6 inches of windshield to look through.
Well, I think that this is like taken through a super weird like angle. Here's the Instagram. So it's a little better, on this one. But yeah, so let me be clear about something. This is an enormous truck, right? So they then have the Mustang-sized window on it, right? And so it makes it look even more ridiculous. So maybe it's just a concept design, though. I mean, but this is a ridiculous.
Well, the top picture, I think, is a doctored version of the bottom picture. And the bottom picture is stupid, but at least it looks like you could actually drive it.
Yeah, it looks like it's legal.
Yeah,
the bottom picture.
And Rob, you actually, I think, shared this in chat, which won't matter to anybody else, but Family Video is closing down.
Oh, there was Nate.
It was Nate? Yeah. I just put that one up on the zone, too.
You can tell because it says Nate above it.
Oh, yeah. I just mostly saw the giant picture.
How that works?
Yeah. I just saw the giant picture and not Nate's name. But yeah, Family Video
So
was.
is there one of these near you guys? In
Well, growing
yes.
up, this was like one of the places. In fact, during Geek House 1, there was a Family Video on the drive between the Hope College campus and Geek House 1. So basically, somebody in Geek House 1 would stop at Family Video almost every single day because they would have like 99 cents for like a movie, and then you rent one, get one free. Like deals like that. So basically, for the entirety of Geek House 1 and 2, probably, we were probably renting, 10 or 15 movies from Family Video a week over the course of the population of the Geek House.
There's an operating Family Video here in Jackson yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they outlasted
also,
Blockbuster.
The dirty little secret that Rob isn't telling you.
Oh.
In nice conservative Holland, Michigan, Family Video was the only place that rented pornography.
And I'm sure it was super hardcore.
I mean, it was the regular kind of hardcore.
As hardcore as any kind of pornography is, I suppose, in the late 80s or I guess early 90s.
Right.
Yeah.
Our particular Family Video, the porn room was like the size of not much bigger than a phone booth. And like that's like an extra form of shame.
It was pretty small, I hear.
Yeah, I hear. I absolutely rented movies from it, and I say this without like trying to like be silly or anything. I think I probably rented a grand total of 2 movies from the adult section because I was so ashamed and embarrassed to go into the tiny elevator room. I would much rather go select random movies.
Shame.
Yep, I'd much rather go select.
Delightful little story about their customer service. My roommate rented a pornographic movie from this place, found it disgusting because there was a little person in the movie in the middle of it for no apparent reason. So he brought it back, put it on the counter, and was like, I would like to get a new porno because there's a little person in this one, and it wasn't disclosed on the front or back. The lady laughed and said, okay. So he went and got a new pornographic movie, and then he went out on a date with her.
Aw, true love, baby.
True story.
True story.
That's like a subplot in Fargo or something, you know?
Right.
I gotta go, guys.
All right. Goodbye, Chris DeBona.
Bye,
thanks for hanging. Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
See ya.
And this has been episode 520 of Geeks in Space. Go find your local home videos. Might be your last chance.